Welcome. These are the MMA Minutes. I'm your host, Sean Anderson. Joining me, as always, is my co-host, Danny Gutierrez.
What's going on, Sean? How are you?
I'm good as always.
I'm excited. It's been an MMA Minute since we've been here.
It has been a hot minute since we've
a
done an MMA Minute show, both on SoundCloud and also this one's going on Most Valuable Podcast. So it's been a minute since we've done. I think the last one we did on Most Valuable Podcast was BJ Penn.
No. That was Ronda. It was Ronda Nunez. Ronda Nunez.
I'm pretty sure we did BJ's coming back, so I think that wasn't BJ after Ronda.
I'm not sure, but that's what it was. I do remember that it was Ronda Nunez.
It's been a while. It's been a while, but for good reason. Conor McGregor is taking out Floyd Mayweather, which is being touted as the greatest sporting event ever, apparently. I think that's what they're going with.
The greatest sporting spectacle that the world has ever seen.
Yeah, pretty much something like that.
I wouldn't go that far, but I mean, everybody is going to be tuning into this fight to watch what happens.
Well, we're hearing from the big goof himself, Dana White. He's saying that the pre-buys are already breaking records. I think he said that in England, it's supposed to reach over 1 million in buys. So
of course. You got all the Conor supporters over there.
You got to take into the U.S. buys as well. Yep. So, I mean, it might crack 3 million pay-per-view buys. Conor saying it's going to be very healthy for him and his lifestyle. I mean, it's going to be crazy. I don't even know if it's officially sold out, though.
No, I don't think it's officially sold out yet either. I believe a few weeks ago, unfortunately, they announced that it hadn't sold out. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking that it'll sell out for Gennady Golovkin versus Canelo Alvarez. I think that's what everybody's saving their seat money for. But when it comes to the pay-per-view, the near $100 pay-per-view, I mean, you might as well sit back and relax and watch Mayweather and McGregor go at it.
Well, the thing is that it's just ridiculously expensive. The cheapest seats you can buy are $1,200.
That's ridiculous.
So, I mean, they broke the gate record already, but that's because it's so expensive to buy a ticket.
So expensive, yeah.
So, I mean, it's going to break records. I think, obviously, the biggest news coming out recently about this fight, though, is the switch from 10-ounce gloves to 8-ounce gloves.
Which is something I found very surprising because knowing Floyd Mayweather, well, not knowing him, but seeing him throughout the years, he tries to take every advantage that he can get out of his opponent. And in this fight, it seems that he's giving McGregor more than he's getting out of McGregor. The only thing that he's going to get out of him is a fight. But he gave him the 154-pound limit, which is either middleweight or super middleweight. That's around about what Canelo walks around at. So he's been given a weight class that's comfortable for him because he's the champion at 155 pounds. 1 pound is not going to make a big difference for someone like Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
The 8-ounce gloves. So we just talked about we just hit that. The 10 to 8-ounce gloves. Man, you talked about it not being a difference. I actually want to know why. Why don't you think it's going to be a difference?
Well, hold on, real quick. I just want to say they're either fighting at super welterweight or junior middleweight, light middleweight. It depends on all the different looking, because you got WBA, WBC, WBO, you got IBF, you got all these different boxing associations and corporations that play into this.
The thing about that too is that the boxing weight classes are so closely compacted together, where it's not like it's MMA where you look at 170 to 155. That's a 15-pound difference. That's a big difference. Yeah. Where maybe junior middleweight, super middleweight, maybe a 2.5 to 3 pound difference. It's not that bad.
And I mean, you look at if you look at our weight classes, you look at welterweight to lightweight. That's the 12-pound difference.
Yeah.
There. But they're
huge difference.
They're using welterweight level gloves. So when you're lower than 147, you're using around 8-ounce gloves, and then when you get higher and higher, they would be using 10-ounce gloves. But obviously, as you were saying, the commission has allowed 8-ounce gloves for this fight. Which you were saying was surprising before.
It is surprising to me. I mean, again, it's just in the sense of Mayweather trying to get every advantage that he can get out of every opponent that he's fought. It seems that he's giving McGregor every advantage that he can get. Maybe that's in spite of him. Maybe that's just to give the fans what they want. Maybe it's to give McGregor what he wants.
Floyd might even see this as an advantage for himself because he's usually fighting at that lower weight class. So maybe it even for him. I mean, he's usually fighting around welterweight. So. I mean, he's used to 8-ounce gloves, so maybe. I mean, he's only fought, I think, super welterweight a couple times in his career. He's mostly a welterweight, and has been welterweight or lower throughout his career. So, I mean, maybe he sees it as himself sort of advantage, or maybe it's not too much of a difference where Conor would just feel more comfortable, and maybe now Dana's pushing it, and even John Kavanaugh was even pushing it as if Conor hits him, it's gonna hurt harder. And Floyd even said. in the All Access, or I mean, not All Access. What's the series UFC does on YouTube?
Embedded.
Yeah, and Embedded, Floyd was like, it doesn't matter.
Right.
I'm going to hit him, and he's going to feel how hard I hit, and he's not going to be able to move. It doesn't matter if I'm hitting him with a 10-ounce glove or an 8-ounce glove. So I think Floyd is calculated, and I mean, the guy's 49-0. He knows what he's doing here. He knows he's fighting at the right weight class. He knows he's fighting with the right size ounces. And I'm not too surprised that the commission allowed this, because it's not a title fight. It's not between two professional boxers. I mean, Conor's still technically an amateur. He has never had a professional boxing.
He's a professional
fight
combatant, athletic combatant, but he's not a boxer.
But I don't think this has any actual true impact on the sport of boxing.
Right.
In a way of how champions and how rankings and how all of this is going to be. It's truly a spectacle.
It's a spectacle. I feel like this fight can give boxing a little bit more notoriety, no matter what happens.
It's going to give both fighters a boost for sure, and both sports a boost. But I'm just saying, at least for if Conor wins this fight, it's not like he's going to shoot up like different rankings in the UFC.
Absolutely not.
Or MMA.
He's just going to be in Forbes magazine as the most richest man ever, or something like that. The most stylish man who just so happens to be rich and who can fight some ridiculous list under the Forbes magazine. It's a spectacle. It's a circus. But it's a circus that everybody, including you and me, are going to watch.
Yeah, I'm so excited for this. I mean, I wasn't excited for it
when you first heard about it. I remember we can go back to every single podcast, and I can go back and play when you said this fight's never going to happen.
We can go ridiculous. Back to UFC 205 and after, and listen to every single podcast, because I think we've talked about Conor versus Floyd ever since it kind of started mulling around. How I've said it wasn't going to happen because it's pointless, and Dana's not going to allow it. Now Dana's embraced it completely. Conor is all for it. Somehow Floyd said yes to it, because I think he's going to know he sees the purse that he's going to make, which is going to be over $100 million.
Yes, there's a lot of money to be made in this fight.
But yeah,
not just this fight, this whole event. I mean, all the press conferences, all the altercations, all the all access, the embedded, the stuff with.
But this is what they do to get people to buy. This is what people do to get it going. I know. I'm not saying it's not. And I'm not saying they don't know what they're doing. I mean, obviously Showtime and the money team and Conor's side, they all know what they're doing. Yeah,
he started his own promotion.
Good for him.
Yeah,
I mean, this kid has had a crazy rise. We'll get to Conor in a little bit, but I mean, it's gonna be everywhere. And these guys are great promoters in themselves. I mean, Conor can sell a fight in 5 days and get it to the most bought UFC pay-per-view in history, no matter it's at Madison Square Garden or his backyard. I mean, Conor can sell a fight. We're both gonna be buying
his
it.
Backyard. Can you imagine?
But getting to it, I mean, I talked about how this fight was not gonna happen.
Right.
This fight had no shot of happening, and then when it did happen, I've been saying that Floyd's gonna whoop his ass. I mean, to put it simply, he's gonna whoop his ass.
And now, as we get closer and closer, the things you see on All Access and Embedded, you don't see Floyd training as much. You see him, going out, having fun a little bit.
But that could be on purpose.
Yeah, that
Conor's
could be
used to people filming his training for either Embedded or, any of the behind-the-scenes UFC does, and because the UFC is his company. I mean,
it's his brand.
He fights for. Floyd might be a little restrictive on, when we're going to be filming, what we're going to be filming. Floyd is showing the nice sides of him. Like, hey, we're roller skating. Hey, we're up at Topgolf. Hey, we're, I'm eating a cheeseburger in the middle of a mall for some reason. Oh, because they were doing the pop-up shop.
Yes.
Floyd's pop-up shop. And he's, like, eating a cheeseburger outside. I mean, Floyd's trying to show the more fun side where Conor's like, I'm taking this seriously. This is true. Yeah. And everyone's like, well, Conor, this is so impressive. Conor went from 0 to 100 in 5 months boxing. Like, no, he hasn't. Conor's still going to get his ass whooped. I love Conor. And Conor's still making me have like hints of doubt about myself when I say this, because Conor can talk me into it. And Conor has talked me, Conor's made me look stupid before. Look at Eddie Alvarez. I think I either said Eddie was going to win.
I said Eddie was going to win. You picked McGregor because you believed in Mr.
But I was
Mac.
iffy.
Yeah.
I was iffy. And then when
I was
happened,
iffy too.
But then we saw the fight, 2 rounds of Conor just dragging Eddie Alvarez around the octagon.
Pretty much.
I mean,
wiping the floor with this man.
It's something where I just everyone knows that Floyd's going to win this fight. But
we don't know that. We really don't know what's going to happen in this fight.
What I want to say is, like, let's talk about Conor and how he can win this fight.
Because let's talk about Conor and how he can win this fight.
Obviously, everyone has puncher's chances.
Yes.
Obviously, boxing is just like MMA, where you have the ability to win if you hit at the right time, if you hit at the right angle. Obviously, as long as Conor has the footwork and he's able to dodge punches, he's still going to have the ability to win. So
absolutely.
How will Conor be able to win? What should he be implementing, and what should he be looking at Floyd's game, where Floyd has been probably exposed before, and how he can really attack that in himself?
Well, when you see Floyd fight, you look at his fight with Zab Judah, and Zab Judah's a left-handed fighter. He's a very long, lanky fighter. He actually caught Floyd Mayweather coming in because Floyd Mayweather had overextended on an overhand right, I believe it was, or a straight right, and Zab Judah actually caught him with a lead right hook that rocked him. He didn't take a knee, so it wasn't technically a knockdown, but he did rock him. Floyd Mayweather kind of overextended himself on his punch, and he got caught with the lead left hook. After that, Zab was talking and was in his face a little bit, and he actually did pretty good for the first half of the fight. And then for the next 6 rounds, Floyd became Floyd and was just using the shoulder roll, using the cage, using the ropes, using the pop shots, the counters, and just moving very well. So he's able to read what's going on in the fight very, very well, and he's able to make adjustments very well. However, when the thing about Conor McGregor is that, 1, we've never seen him box before. 2, he's switching stances that we see that in his training. And 3, he's got power. He's got a lot of power. He's got the touch of death.
Well, there was something, Joe Rogan has called it the touch of death. And there's a thing going on that I saw earlier that in the Poirier and Alvarez fight and the McGregor-Alvarez fight, Poirier set it up the same way, same pretty much. I mean, obviously, I think Alvarez was closer to the cage, but he sets it up with a right-handed jab, and then he comes over, hits Eddie on the right side of the temple with a left hook, and left straight. Yeah. Eddie gets knocked down by Conor, and he doesn't get knocked down by Poirier. Right. It's just kind of showing, same setup, same shot, same angle, same everything. Just Conor's able to knock down Eddie with his power.
He's got those fast twitch muscles. He's built differently than any other boxer that we've ever seen before, except for maybe Canelo Alvarez. But Canelo Alvarez is a right-handed fighter, and he's a little bit more of a brawler. He's got that Mexican, push forward, body shot, hook, power, pit bull fight in him. A fighter like that against someone like Floyd Mayweather, who's a master at his craft, is just going to stay on the outside and eat him apart. I don't think Conor's going to do that because I feel like Conor is just a much smarter, not boxer, but athlete. He's a more centered martial artist.
Well, there's 2 things that I think obviously clearly Conor has on his side. I mean, obviously everything I would say technically and everything on the actual boxing aspect. Besides maybe punch strength, Floyd has. But the 2 things that Conor has is age. So he's going to be more athletic. He's going to be in his prime.
He's almost half of Floyd's age. Almost.
And then also he's got the size. He's got I think an inch on him in height, and he's got an inch on him in reach. So he does have the size compared to Floyd. So how much does that play into effect in this boxing match? Because Floyd, when we see him take on De La Hoya, De La Hoya is around 5'10", has I think 1 inch reach, 1 inch longer reach than Floyd did.
I believe Zab did too as well.
So how would Conor be able to use that? I mean, will Conor have to use his speed more than his power in this fight, or is it really like how is he going to be using that?
Conor has to be unorthodox in this fight in order to be successful. He's got to do things that Floyd has never seen before in the boxing ring, and he has to do things that Floyd wouldn't know how to adjust to. So switching of the stances, for example, cutting him off on the ring is something that Floyd isn't used to because Floyd's used to chasing guys. He's not necessarily used to guys measuring him and cutting off the ropes.
But then wouldn't that mean that Floyd would have to be backing up?
Floyd's going to back up. Okay. Everybody backs up Floyd. So Floyd's going to back up. It's a matter of what you do it's a matter of what you do after you back him up. Okay, or what you do to back him up as well as what you do after you back him up.
So let's say Floyd backs up. Once Conor sees Floyd back up, he's got to attack, is pretty much what you're saying.
The mistake that a lot of guys make when they're fighting Floyd Mayweather up against the ropes is that they swarm on him. They swarm on him, and they're trying to land every shot, and they're trying to make every shot count, and Floyd's blocking, and he's tucking his shin into his shoulders, and he's moving his shoulders very well with his hips, and he's absorbing the punches well, and he's moving with the punches, and then the onslaught stops. and then you see there's a moment of pause, and that's when Floyd shakes his head no. You've seen that with guys like Victor Ortiz, Miguel Cotto, Manny Pacquiao. Who hasn't he fought that he hasn't done that to? Yep. Even if he's gotten rocked, he'll shake his head no. See, if McGregor gets him up against the ropes like that, he can't just swarm on him. He's got to pick his shots, and he's got to be smart.
Well, and that's one thing that we've seen with Conor, is that recently, and I would say it's very clear in that Eddie Alvarez fight.
Before you get to that, I'm sorry. Before you get to that, another thing that, Floyd Mayweather does make adjustments very well, but Conor does too. Conor is able to gauge distance deceptively well.
And I think we'll get into this is with the deception is when you're saying he's picking his shots. We saw that a lot in the Alvarez fight where he was he didn't throw a lot of shots. He threw well-timed shots at nice distances, and he made sure that the shots were clean. So not only is
everything
he going to be
counted, everything was accounted for.
I mean, pretty much most of his strikes were significant strikes,
yes.
and he landed most of them. I mean, yes. Conor was extremely efficient in that fight.
Very accurate.
So Conor has athleticism and age on him, and then at least in this fight, he's going to need to implement that shot selection,
that power,
and then that distance.
Yes.
So at least when you're looking at it, does Conor need to implement that right away? Does he need to do it in the first 4 rounds, 3 rounds? Does he just need to do it throughout the whole fight?
I'll tell you what. MMA fight is 5 to 10 minutes. I say 5 to 10 because in Japan, sometimes that first round is in a boxing ring, it's 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. That's more of an endurance round if you think about it. That round is basically, it can't be a feel-out round. Now, we're going to go back to the unified rules of mixed martial arts here.
At least with Conor's
right, we're going to go away from the Japanese rules back to the MMA, the unified American MMA rules, excuse me.
And what Conor's been fighting.
That's a 5-minute one. That's 5 minutes for one round. Mm-hmm. 5 minutes, it's 2 minutes longer than a boxing round. It doesn't sound like much. You really need to pace yourself. And you know me. I train a little bit. When we sparring for 5 minutes feels like it's forever.
But not even only sparring for 5 minutes in a match.
Right.
You have takedowns. You have there's grappling up against a cage.
I was getting to that.
You have clinching.
There are these other factors that are in. So the rounds are longer. The duration of the rounds are longer, but the rounds themselves are shorter. You only have 5 rounds max in an MMA fight.
12 rounds, yes. 3 minutes, and then 5 rounds, 5 minutes.
In the cage, you're fighting with knees, elbows. You're fighting in the clinch, and when you're in the clinch, you're there longer because you can transition to a takedown, an ankle pick, single leg takedown, double leg. You could pull guard if you wanted to. Mm-hmm. You could throw knees, elbows. You could dirty box the old Randy Couture way. There's so many options.
Trip, sweeps.
Yes,
yeah, I mean, you could
there are so many options that you can utilize in mixed martial arts that Conor can't necessarily utilize in the ring, the boxing ring. However, some of those tools, some of those setups, some of those weapons he could take in with him, some of those ideals. So we were talking about switching stances. What boxer do you know switches stances very well, successfully?
I'm not into boxing as much as I am into MMA, so I cannot really tell you, unless you have an answer.
Well, I've asked boxers and boxing fans, and there are some, but no names come to mind, so it's very, very little. So at almost slim to none.
The greats aren't usually switching stances.
So
but do you think that's for a reason, at least for boxing?
Boxing is much more traditional.
It is.
So, yes, in a sense that is the theory of boxing, yes, it is. So there are 3 styles of boxing. There's the brawler, I believe, the swarmer, and I forget the technical term for it, but it's Muhammad Ali style of staying on the outside. And if you're staying on the outside, you're light on your feet, and you're very deceptive with your movements, and you're elusive, and you're accurate with your shots, you'll be fine.
You have swarmer, outboxer, slugger,
thank you.
Boxer punch, and then there's some sub-styles.
Yes. So it all depends on what. So when we talk about switching stances with Conor McGregor, his style of striking, his style of punching, not only does it come from boxing, it comes from Muay Thai, it comes from Jeet Kune Do, it comes from Taekwondo, it comes from karate, it comes from various styles from all over the world that he's implemented into this.
He threw some capoeira in there as well.
Yes, and capoeira. But he's gonna utilize those tools, maybe not to their 100% full potential, because he can only use his hands, but he's going to use them as well as he can to throw off Floyd Mayweather.
But how much do you think that Floyd is going to be expecting that, and how much do you think that Floyd will be able to handle that? Because then again, he can implement these different styles in the way that, different angles and the way that he's actually coming at it.
The best thing he could do, right? The best thing his camp can do is study tape.
Mm-hmm.
That's fight camp 101.
But then again,
you study
how
the
much
tape of your fighter. You study the patterns of your fighter.
How much tape do you think from the MMA world and the MMA fights that Conor's been in translate to boxing? Because we've seen, very little, at least out of sparring. And
that is the ultimate question, Son Anderson, and that's why we're going to buy it on pay-per-view on Saturday, August 26th, ladies and gentlemen.
This is not sponsored. But, still, how much do you at least think that it will... how much do you think it will translate?
What do you mean?
Like how much do you think that Conor's MMA tape will be able to translate into the boxing world?
It all depends on it all depends on how they prepare themselves. It really does depend on how Floyd prepares himself. It depends on what if Floyd respects that left hand, then yes, he will be very prepared. If he's prepared and expecting that left hand, then yes, he as well can be very successful in this fight. But Conor has, knockout power in both of his hands, and he's got a nasty lead right hook as well. He's got a nasty jab with that too, and he springs off with. If you notice his boxing technique,
he's extremely light.
Conor McGregor is very light on his feet, and he brings his body with him when he punches. So he brings his feet with him when he punches. So what I mean by that is that whenever he jabs, it's the full force. His jab is just as hard as his left hand, is basically what I'm saying. And it's just as fast, just as accurate, and it's just as elusive too. It's just he throws out that right hand, that right jab, just like he would that left straight, and it's just like, whoop, just like a nice little, here you go, peekaboo. But that peekaboo is extremely devastating. That peekaboo really, really hurts. How
many boxing fans do you think are going to listen to this and be like, what are these guys saying? They're saying peekaboo?
Right. Well, that is actually a style, peekaboo style of boxing.
I'm joking. One thing I want to get into with Conor, and the final thing I want to get into Conor before we get into the Floyd thing is, how much are you taking this Paulie, sparring videos of Conor knocking Paulie down, and he barely taps him, and Paulie doesn't even stay down for a long time.
Paulie Malignini has had he
had a good boxing career.
He did have a very good boxing career.
No one's taking that down.
A very treasured boxing career, but he did talk a lot of crap about Conor McGregor, going, I could beat this guy with one hand tied behind my back. He hadn't fought in 6 years. This man hasn't fought in 6 years. And he's commentating now. He's commentating. When I looked at those tapes, first of all, I looked at the size difference between him and Conor. It's astronomically absurd how different in size they are.
Conor's got an inch on him, and Conor's got 4 inches of reach on him. But also Paulie's usually fighting at light welterweight and welterweight, which would be around
140-ish.
Yeah, that'd be around featherweight size.
Yeah, that'd be it'd be 147, I believe, 145.
Well, yeah, 147 would be actual true welterweight, but then that light welterweight would probably put him. If Paulie was fighting in UFC, he'd be a featherweight.
It'd be 142, 141-ish.
Yeah, he'd be a featherweight if he was fighting in UFC.
Yeah, or a bantamweight, mind you. But Paulie has not fought in a very long time. He's very inconsistent. He's not physically. He's very inconsistent. As a boxing commentator, he's great.
Mm-hmm. Last fight he had was in 2017. Got knocked out in the 8th round.
Yes. It's come on now. This is a whole nother game. This is a whole nother thing. I saw the tape on. I did see the tape, but I thought Paulie looked out of shape. Paulie looked way out of shape.
But do you think that him knocking down Paulie has anything to do with it? Are you taking that in and be like, wow, Conor might have a shot in this?
No.
You're taking in Conor's other career, and you're not really taking in Paulie's.
Not necessarily, no, because of the fact that it was just word of mouth. It was just
there was the video showing that he got knocked down.
No. I'm saying leading up to the video, it was just word of mouth. It was just talking trash and, I can do this, I can do that. And then we see maybe a few seconds of the video of McGregor punching and knocking back Paulie's head. a few times, and him like not pushing him, punching him, and him moving like across the ring.
There was one shot that Conor had. And you saw the snap in Paulie's head.
That was nasty.
That was nasty.
That was awesome.
But then again, I don't know how much that's going to translate to Floyd. So the one thing I want to get to with Floyd now is, at least listening to and hearing him talk, and I might be totally wrong. I might be taking this the right way. But it seems like he's going to be coming after Conor. It doesn't seem like he's going to be doing what he did with Pacquiao, and it doesn't seem like he's going to be playing defensively. It seems like he's going to be on the attack. Do you think that's the right...
so he says.
We'll assume that this is what he's actually going to be doing.
It's very dangerous. See, here's the thing.
Do you think that's what do you think he should be doing that, or do you think he should be going what he knows?
Here's the thing. They are both counter strikers. Both of these gentlemen are counter strikers. That's the truth. If you look at these guys' styles, they're counter strikers. You look at Floyd. Oh, Floyd's the best defensive boxer ever. Yeah, he's got awesome counters. He's very elusive with his defensive movement. Mm-hmm. He's got very good footwork, very good head movement. He knows where to place the gloves to protect his head and his body. He's extremely smart. Conor McGregor loves to swing that shoulder over when you swing at him with that right hand, because a lot of orthodox fighters aren't used to fighting southpaws unless you train at it diligently and you study patterns diligently. Conor's just going to he's just going to dip that shoulder a little bit, come back over, arch his heel, turn his hips over, and just shoot out that trebuchet of a left hand, and he's just going to rock your world. He's going to rock your world.
It's so weird hearing you say that.
And it's true.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, the fact that we're talking about this, and the fact that we're giving Conor...
Since both guys are counter strikers...
Yeah.
It would be very and one has more power than the other. Let's face it, one has more power than the other.
Well, Conor's younger.
Yes.
Conor's in the prime of his career. Floyd's older.
That's a very dangerous
Floyd has more miles on his
It's a very dangerous game plan for someone like Floyd, the size of Floyd, to go after someone like Conor McGregor. Jose Aldo went after Conor McGregor. What happened?
Oh, come on. Come on. You knew that was a fluke. 12 seconds, Jose Aldo, the greatest featherweight of all time. I mean, Conor caught him.
But honestly,
it was clean.
Seriously.
But do you think that happens? Do you think that happens? If they fight three times, do you think it's going to happen?
They met in the center of the octagon, right?
Yeah.
And Jose Aldo was in the straight Muay Thai style, and he had his hands down a little bit, and his chin was up, and he's tight, and he's looking to make, land that one shot. And he throws a fade right hand, doesn't throw it all the way, comes back with a lead left hook. Conor just reads it and steps back maybe an inch or two, just slips that left hand down the pipe and knocks him out. And that was like 10 seconds after the fight.
Yeah, I watched the fight.
You can watch the whole fight on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter or what have you. Any social media service that provides at least a little bit of MP4, just a little bit, you can watch that fight because it lasted just a little bit. However, he did predict that was going to happen, that those exact movements were going to happen before the fight even started.
Okay.
That's because Jose Aldo's game, it's very readable. It is very readable.
But how much is this going to translate to boxing and translate to Floyd? That's the question.
That is the question.
Yes, that happened with Jose Aldo, but do you think with Aldo again, if they ran that back...
Who isn't a boxer, mind you. Who isn't a pro boxer.
I know, but with what you're saying is... I mean, I think you even know. If that fight happens 3 times, it's not going to happen the same way over and over and over again.
No, it's not.
No.
You're human beings. That's the human condition.
Aldo's bound to win a fight.
Right.
And Aldo's bound to at least go to 5 in one of them. They're it's bound to go to a decision in one of them.
Past a round.
Past a minute.
Yeah.
I mean... I don't think that's going to be the way this
won't
fight
happen.
happens.
That's not going to happen. But the reality is that it happened. Conor is that dangerous. When's the last time you've seen Floyd Mayweather do that to somebody?
I don't think he's ever knocked anybody out.
He's never starched anybody.
But not a lot of guys knock people
early
out.
Right.
Boxing's different.
Right. I mean, you look
4th round of Victor Ortiz.
Right. You look at guys like that was a freakish. That was a freak knockout.
2nd round of Sam Gerard, and that was in '98.
That was
2nd round of Louis.
It's almost 2018. It's 20 years ago.
Here you go. In September 6, 1997, he TKO'd Louis Leja, and I was about 2 weeks old.
I was born in '92. I was maybe like 5 or 6 years old when that happened.
He did. When he was 7, he knocked out Tony Duran first round. With 1 minute and 12 seconds. It was May of '97. I wasn't even born. Bob Geepert, TKO first round 130. That was April 12th, 1997. First round. So early in his career, he was doing it.
Yes. Very early in his career, he was dropping guys.
But then again, none of these guys have Wikipedia pages.
I watched one of the guys he knocked out in the first round, and his record was something like 10-15 or something like that.
Something is really cool though. On that Bob Geepert one where he TKO'd him in the first round, he fought on De La Hoya versus Pernell Whitaker.
Oh wow! Look at that.
He's on the undercard. That's pretty cool.
Look at that, and he went on to fight De La Hoya. So
who 5'10" has longer reach, similar to Conor.
But he's an orthodox fighter.
He is,
and he has a particular style that suits his body type.
Yeah.
So it's a different.
But Conor
different human beings.
Conor does have size.
He does.
Like Oscar does, and he is a southpaw, which is different than Oscar, but you'd also say that Conor's style is unique.
They are.
Which was the last close fight that Floyd had where it was a split decision.
Yes. I would argue that Miguel Cotto was a very close fight because of the fact that Miguel Cotto drew blood on Floyd Mayweather, but it was all about that pressure and it was all about the reads. At the end of the fight is when Floyd Mayweather started to land some pretty powerful definitive shots on Cotto, and that's when the judges kind of gave it the unanimous decision.
Well, and
so up until certain points, again, Floyd's really good at making reads. So when he's got a read down, he's going to take advantage of it, and he's not going to stop.
Yeah.
Just like when a fighter sees a cut.
And the one thing I want to bring up is the conditioning, and then we'll get into predictions. And we'll jump into some John Jones news after the predictions.
Yes.
But looking at this, we kind of talked about it a little bit with conditioning.
Just a little bit.
So 3 rounds, 12 minutes, 3 minutes, 36 minutes total fighting. You look at UFC, 5 rounds, 5 minutes,
25 minutes
total.
11-minute difference.
Does Conor have the conditioning to go a full 12?
He says he does. I believe that he does. You know what?
I mean, we haven't seen Conor go to a decision. We haven't seen
Conor go to a decision. The last time we saw him go to a decision was Max Holloway.
A long time ago.
And that was a little bit ago.
That was 2013.
That was a little bit ago.
I'm sorry. No, Nate.
Yes. You're right.
Duh.
How can we forget that fight?
Yeah, okay.
That was a crazy fight. So he's got the 2 decisions in the UFC.
I remember.
That was an awesome fight with Nate Diaz.
I remember the submission. That's why.
Yes.
I always forget.
It was an awesome fight with Nate Diaz, and then the domination of Max Holloway.
Yeah.
There are no submissions in boxing.
No, clearly. There's no ground game.
He went all 5 rounds for Nate.
He kind of faded.
He was. I was just about to say he was bloodied and bruised.
Nate won that 5th,
but he was.
Nate won the 4th.
Yeah, I'd argue he won like the 2nd and 4th. He definitely got at least a round or 2 out of that fight.
Oh yeah, no, that was a close fight.
That was a very good fight. But I feel like Conor's power was just the exclamation point on that fight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm trying to pull up the scorecards from that. But yeah, I'm pretty sure Nate won the 4th. But still, Conor showed he wasn't super conditioned. It wasn't like he was, running through it, through that 5th round.
But again, you have a lot more to worry about in an MMA fight than you do in a boxing match.
Mm-hmm.
However, when you have someone like Floyd who could put these tools together to make you overexpose yourself, or he can get you to expose yourself where he can capitalize on the mistakes that you make, it's still a very dangerous fight. It would be just as if he was fighting an MMA fight, except now it's just a conglomerate agreement. Now it's just his hands. Mm-hmm. All we have to do is just fight with our hands now.
Nate won the 3rd round and destroyed the 3rd round. All judges gave him the 3rd round. One even gave him a 10-8.
Okay.
And then all judges gave Nate the 5th round as well.
I believe it was a majority decision, too.
It was a majority decision because one of them was 47-47.
Near split, near draw. Yeah. Very, very close fight. And again, Nate's longer. Nate's got a different style of boxing. He's also a southpaw. Again, these are different factors to look into. Max Holloway's a kickboxing style striker, westernized kickboxing style striker. Again, very light on his feet. He's long and lanky too.
It was only 3 rounds.
He's got knockout power, but it's when he swarms on guys.
Yeah, but that was
lights them up.
That was only 3 hours.
Conor's again. Yeah,
3 rounds.
Yeah,
so,
and again, Conor's got that. I'm gonna start you with this left atomic bomb power. So,
do we think he has enough to go to 12 rounds though?
I think he does. I believe that he does. I mean, here's the thing. How can you deny Conor's belief in himself?
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, does he have conditioning?
Yeah.
Belief doesn't mean...
Yeah.
Belief doesn't mean jack if you can't go 12 rounds.
I believe 100% that he's got the conditioning to make it all 12 rounds.
Yeah.
I really do. He's prepared himself. If he was smart, he would pursue a very diligent, very good strength and conditioning program that would acclimate him to that.
He's got the coaching. He's got the coaching. You see it embedded. I mean, he was riding a bike, and he's got 15 people cheering him on like a kid.
That's what we see.
That's what we see, and I think that's what's been happening. But the one thing is I feel like Conor's taking this seriously. I just don't know if, getting hit by Floyd, chasing after Floyd, trying to exert all this energy against Floyd,
possibly becoming extremely frustrated because Floyd is very good at getting fighters out of their element.
And Floyd, what if he goes to the body, starts wearing him down, starts wearing that? I don't know if Conor can go 12. I
believe Conor can go 12. Whether or not he will is a whole different story.
Well, that's why
I believe he can go 12.
Well, that's why we're getting into predictions.
Yes.
So
I believe he can go 12. Now Floyd can do 12 easy.
Well, Floyd does it all the time. I'm not asking about Floyd.
Floyd's done 15-round fights before.
Yeah. The thing now with predictions is we'll obviously say winner. You got to say how they're going to win. And if I think I know who you're going to say, so then also does Conor even have a chance is a part of it. So who's winning this fight?
All right. So we talked about this before we even got to this. So I'm going to break this down into percentiles. So look at Floyd, of course. Now we're going to look at money. We're going to look at the pretty boy Floyd Mayweather. All right. Olympic level boxing, and I say Olympic level gold medal boxing, even though he only received bronze. If you watch the fight where he earned a bronze, he lit up this kid like it was nobody's business. This kid had no business being in the ring with Floyd Mayweather at that age, and he was maybe 14, 15 years old. It was a Super Junior Olympic tournament, and he only qualified for bronze.
He was 19 years old.
Yeah, I'm sorry, 19 years old. Very, very young.
He was 1996, born in 97, or born in 77. So, yeah, 19.
Yeah, I can't math.
Yeah, because if it was 1997, you would have been 20. So he's 19.
So he's a young 19-year-old kid competing in the Olympics, and he's clocking everybody. And before that, he's had an awesome amateur career as well. He was undefeated in his amateur career as well. But you know what? He's got Olympic level boxing. He's 49-0. He's been doing it for years. His whole family has been boxing.
Five division world champ.
Yes, a 5-division world champ. I mean, he's basically, you can't pick against him.
In our life, he's probably the best boxer we've seen. I mean, I was too young for Tyson. I was too young for Ali.
I mean, I was there for Tyson's heyday, but I was pretty much there for the downfall of it.
Yeah.
The 90s.
You were there
90s,
for the Holyfield after he came out of prison.
Yeah.
But I mean, I would still say Floyd Mayweather's the best boxer we've seen.
Yes.
He's better than
in this generation, in the 21st century, as it stands,
better than Alvarez, better than De La Hoya.
No matter what happens,
everyone.
Floyd Mayweather will go down as one of the best, if not the best, boxers of all time.
I'll still take Ali.
Ali, Tyson, Marciano.
Yeah.
Jack Dempsey. Now we're getting back to the old black and white days, where they used to fight kangaroos at carnivals.
Yeah, but Floyd's
got the experience.
Yeah,
and Floyd's got everything going for him. He's been here before, so I give Floyd like a 99.9999999% chance of winning. So pretty much like 0.01% chance. For now it's not going to make sense to what you guys It's just not going to make sense. My percentile score isn't going to make sense for you guys. So now we're going to look at Conor. Look at Conor McGregor. He's got the size. He's got the height. He's got the reach. He's got age. He's got the power.
I would say athleticism.
He's a southpaw. He moves very differently than any other boxer ever. He doesn't move like other boxers. Mm-hmm. He doesn't move
because
like
he's not a boxer.
Right. He doesn't move like other boxers.
Because he's not a
We've
boxer.
never seen him fight in a boxing ring. We've never seen him take advantage of excuse me. We've never seen him take advantage of boxing situations before. We don't know what's going to happen. The fact that basically Conor McGregor's a really big question mark with dollar signs floating around it. I give Conor like a 35% chance of success. I really do. He does have a puncher's chance. If he gets Floyd in trouble and he smells blood, not only is he going to swarm on him, he's going to cap that 49 and that 50-0 like dream to all the boxing fans in the world. Just adios, goodbye. He's going to take that all away from Floyd if he sleeps on him.
So who do you have winning, and how are they winning it?
I have Floyd winning by decision.
So,
I really do have Floyd winning by decision.
Unanimous?
Either unanimous or majority.
You think Conor can get a split?
Conor's not going to back down.
You think Conor can win more than 3 rounds?
I think he has the potential to win 5. I really do.
Really?
Yes. I really do.
All right.
In martial arts and fighting, boxing, kickboxing, taekwondo in the Olympics, even wrestling, sumo wrestling, what have you, it doesn't matter. You never know what's going to happen. You never know what's going to happen. There's no decisive answer on what's going to happen. We can only predict what's going to happen.
Floyd's going to win. And Floyd's going to win. Technical knockout, 11th round.
I don't think he's going to knock him out. I don't think he's got the power to. I honestly don't believe. I mean, Floyd's had a lot of surgery on his hands. Mm-hmm. His hands have been broken before. Conor's only torn an ACL.
Conor's going to get beaten for the first 11 rounds, and he's going to get hit over and over again. And he's going to answer the bell. He's going to keep getting up. He's going to keep getting up. But finally, in the 11th round, I think Floyd's going to put him away. And I think Conor...
That's a bold statement coming from one of the biggest Conor McGregor fans that I've ever met.
Yeah. I love Conor. I believe in Conor. I believe Conor in MMA. This is boxing. 49-0 against 0-0.
And 0.
And no boxing professional, professional boxing career. I mean, if I'm wrong, I'm going to be running around the city screaming like a maniac. But... I'm not going to be doing that because I'm a sane person. Well, I mean, have I thought about putting money on Conor with 325 odds?
Of course.
Yeah, of course, because I believe in Conor, and Conor can make me talk into it. But if I'm trying to at least look at this from a rational perspective, Floyd's going to kick his butt.
Logically, you can't go against Floyd Mayweather.
No, you can't. I mean, he's 42-0. Or sorry, not 42-0.
But again,
49-0.
Again, the human condition. Nobody's perfect.
If
Floyd's record is perfect, it doesn't mean that he himself is perfect.
If Floyd rushed, no, God, of course, no. Floyd. I mean, Floyd's been
arrested before, and
at least in his boxing career, he's perfect.
Yes. On paper, he's a perfect boxer.
I think that Floyd's going to keep that perfect record. There's no way he takes this fight if he thinks he's losing it, and I think it's more than There's no doubt in his mind that he's going to be able to beat this guy. Because, I mean, honestly, I know Conor has the experience in MMA. He has the experience in fights. He has the experience.
He's got the experience in big crowds, too. He's got the experience in a spotlight like this.
And he thrives in this.
Yes.
He does.
Yes.
I'm not doubting that. But
he's going to be talking to him in the ring, too.
So is Floyd.
Oh, man.
Floyd can give it back.
Yes.
It's not like Floyd's going to take it.
No.
Floyd's going to beat him up.
Well, it'll be fun.
It'll
be fun to watch.
I hope it's not like Pacquiao Mayweather. And I hope it's not just completely one-sided. I hope Conor catches him at least once.
In that fight. I was so disappointed in that fight. And Pacquiao went in there injured, and it was just a mess.
Well, let's talk about other disappointments. John Jones.
Yeah, let's talk about another mess entirely.
John Jones, a month after UFC 202 and his 202 victory.
Come on, Jay.
John Jones has popped, and USADA has found him to test positive for, and I'm going to mess this up, Turnbull?
It's an anabolic steroid.
But did I say that right?
Yes. Yeah, I believe so. Turnaboil or something like
Turnbull.
that. Yeah. I
don't take the stuff, so I don't know.
Neither do I. Go green all the way.
Yeah.
But it is a anabolic steroid that Olympic athletes would actually use, and it only stays in your system for about 16 hours.
It's got 16-hour half-life.
They would use it to actually cheat the drug tests in the Olympics. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what... It's interesting to see what John Jones has to say.
And this was, so far they've came out and said it was USADA has confirmed it was Turnbull. And John Jones and his camp have said it was, weirdly enough, a tainted supplement. Every favorite MMA fighter's excuse is obtain a supplement. It was taken after the weigh-ins for UFC 202, so obviously, it puts it on the right time frame of trying to make it before the fight, but after all the weigh-ins with the half-life. So ultimately, Jon Jones gets caught. Honestly, it is shocking though, because we were a month out. We were a month out after he won.
What's shocking is that did you learn your lesson? You didn't learn your lesson. You didn't learn your lesson.
And
that's what's shocking to me.
I can't believe we trusted that he actually did learn his lesson, because Jon has such a rap for not only testing positive. I think this is the second time, right? Because obviously after 200.
He tested third time, because he tested positive for cocaine after he fought Cormier. And then they canceled UFC 200, the UFC 200 main event.
Performance enhancing.
Yes.
So I wouldn't say cocaine's a performance enhancer.
I mean, no, you wouldn't say it's a performance enhancer? I mean...
I don't know. I've never been on cocaine. I don't know.
Neither have I, but
I don't know how.
Heard stories like where you stay up for 24 hours and you're still up and you're like, oh man.
Yeah, it gives you a rush. Right. But I'm saying at least physically.
Right.
Turbol, an anabolic steroid, it's going to give you a physical.
It's going to give you Mexican supplements.
Yeah, it's going to give you a physical advantage. I don't know if cocaine gives you a physical advantage.
Russian Tylenol, I call it.
I just think that it's not. It's shocking.
You take this and you run like bull. Yes.
I don't think I should be shocked by this though, because I mean, Jon has the history. Jon's been here before. Jon has disappointed us before, but I think it's just something after that victory, after that high left head kick.
Yeah.
That he was fine, and after that whole thing where he calls out Brock. I don't know. I thought we were finally out of the clear with Jon.
Yeah, it did sound a little bit like we'd gotten the Jon Bones Jones
that we wanted
back.
Yeah.
Listen, Daniel Cormier came out and said this, and I think this is one of the most humble things that a former champion and an Olympic level athlete like Daniel Cormier can say. He said something along the lines of, Jon Jones I was under the impression that Jon Jones was the better man that night. With or without the steroids, he was kicking me to the legs and the liver. Steroids don't necessarily enhance kicks when it comes to
technique,
in terms of power and technique.
Yeah.
He feels a little ashamed that we all have to go through this again, not just with Jon Jones, but with it being after the fact.
Yeah.
That being after the fight.
Well, if it's true, and if it's true, and it was actually, Turnbull, he took it, and I mean, he can get suspended for 4 years. That means he wouldn't be able to return until he's 33, 34.
That's basically the mid to end of his prime.
Yeah,
that's pretty much like the heyday of your career.
Yeah, that's when you're declining.
That's
physically. And that's when guys start using steroids.
Guys, I mean, look at this. Look at the numbers. Guys at around maybe 38 to 42 are doing horrible. They're on losing streaks.
Unless you're a heavyweight,
right? Or you're Michael Bisping, and you're an English zombie, or you're Yoel Romero.
Yeah.
Even
Yoel Romero's got some help.
There's
come on
with the Jesus juice. No, but seriously, I mean, he could very well be the exception. I mean, look at him. He looks like the Hulk from Cuba at middleweight.
Oh yeah, I know. I mean, Yoel Romero's a freak,
right? And look,
whether that's naturally or
then we got a different type of freak in Michael Bisping in the sense that he's durable.
Yeah, I think
who can take punishment and dish it out just as good as Michael Bisping?
No one. Nobody. Totally got CTE.
Nobody. And he can't see out of one eye.
No. He's got to retire until he gets his eyes fixed.
So, I mean, it all depends on who you are, what your body is. Jon Jones coming back at 34.
If you're the UFC, do you even want him back?
Right. I don't. I don't want to see him fight again. I'd rather see Tyron Woodley fight again.
What do you mean, Tyron Woodley? Why do you have to pick?
I would rather watch Tyron Woodley fight than to see Jon Jones fight in
because Woodley's a boring fighter.
I would rather watch him fight Damian Maia 3 more times than to watch Jon Jones do something cool and then afterwards get popped for steroids.
Give me Jared Rosholt.
Jared Rosholt?
Yeah. Give me him. Let's watch him fight.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm disappointed in Jon. I hope it's not
isn't?
true. I hope it's somehow not true, but
Yeah,
it's true.
It's
true.
Come on. I mean, everybody.
I feel so bad for DC, too.
Me too. He's got to go through an appeal. He's going to appeal. He's going to fight this legally for as long as he can, as hard as he can. Hopefully, he's got good support, good staff with him. I wish him all the best, but I mean,
I hope it's not true, but it's true.
At this point, he's basically tarnishing his career.
And he's kind of tarnishing DC's career.
Forget about his legacy. He's tarnishing his career.
And he's tarnishing DC's career.
I would have to agree.
DC has never lost outside of John Jones.
Yeah.
And both times, even DC, he said in the first fight after 182, that it felt like he felt like John was on steroids.
Yeah.
And now after this one, it's proven that John was on steroids.
Yeah.
So, I mean, DC, I feel so bad for this guy.
So it's like either you lost to John on steroids or you lost to John, period. But no matter what, you still...
still lost to John.
Yeah,
you got knocked out by John.
You were the equal to or lesser than of John Jones.
People aren't going to forget you not being able to stand or fully comprehend any sentences because you got knocked out and you're on Dream Street.
Right.
And it's such a bad look for DC, and I feel so bad for him because if John Jones was cheating, I mean, it's disgusting that DC's career gets tarnished like
everybody hates DC.
For no reason.
How can you hate DC? He's a gentleman. He's a sportsman. He's smart. You see him on Fox. He's a very good commentator as well. He's a good leader at his gym, a.k.a. He's
a great guy.
Father. He's a husband. He's got a house. I mean, he's a great guy. He's a blue-collar hard worker.
All right.
John Jones, I mean, I'm sure he's got all that, but where are your priorities, man?
I mean, what his priorities have been partying. It's been living life. It's been living pedal to the metal, and it's been cheating your way by.
I mean,
we don't know. Is John Jones really the greatest of all time, or has he been getting by with steroids?
Were you so good because you were on it, or were you so good that you didn't need it?
I don't know. I don't think he ever needed it.
Neither do I. But
with his length and his ability and with his family, with how athletic they are,
he's super talented. His brothers in the NFL.
Chandler and Arthur.
Yes, and he himself is one of the greatest, if not the greatest, mixed martial artist to ever walk the face of the earth.
I don't even want to say that, though, because of what's going on here.
Yeah.
And I don't even know who is then.
Yeah.
Because, Conor's too young. Conor doesn't have the staying power.
And he lost to Nate.
He lost to Nate, but then again, that wasn't even a title fight.
Right.
Anderson has even been caught up in a couple steroid things.
Yes.
But you even see the last part of Anderson's career, and it hasn't been that impressive.
No.
GSP is up there.
Is just coming back.
But now if GSP does come back and loses to Bisping of all people, I'm going to not think he's the greatest of all time.
You don't think Bisping will be a tough fight for someone like GSP?
What do you mean?
You don't think Bisping will be a tough fight for someone like GSP?
No, but I'm saying if he comes back and loses to Bisping, that's gonna be such a sour note for me. Because
right.
you end on such a high peak.
Yeah.
You walk away as champion, and you come back and you lose to Bisping, who's 40 years old.
Right.
And whose last title defense was a very close win against Dan Henderson, who's 45 years old.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know who the greatest of all time is. Maybe it's Fedor, but even Fedor, I mean, you look at his career and the way it's been going recently, almost lost to Fabio Maldonado.
Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson.
That might be the answer. But then again, we lost to Dominic Cruz. We lost to Cody Garbrandt. Maybe Cody Garbrandt's the greatest mixed martial artist of all time.
He's the only one who's undefeated in the roster, so.
Anyways, that's
at least
untrue.
The championship roster.
Habib.
Yes.
Habib Nurmagomedov,
yes.
My other boy.
The Eagle.
Anyways.
The Sambo Master.
That is going to wrap up this episode of the MMA Minutes. It was the Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor special and the John Jones hotline help discussion.
Yeah, the Suicide Squad, I guess you could say.
Ooh. I don't know if that's dark. Probably too dark. Anyways, that's Danny Gutierrez with the Suicide Squad reference, and I am Sean Anderson. Thank you so much for listening to the MMA Minutes. If you're listening on most of the podcasts, thank you so much. If you're listening on SoundCloud, thank you so much as well. All of our listeners mean a lot to us.
Leave a comment below. Let us know how we're doing.
Yes, leave a comment below. Tell us who you think is going to win the Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather fight. Will it be Conor? Will it be Floyd? And what round? How are they going to win? TKO, knockout decision.
I take Floyd by 12-round decision.
I'll say Floyd knocks him out in 11. Anyways, that is going to wrap up this episode. You can find us always on SoundCloud. But that is going to wrap it up for the final time. I said that about 4 different times. For Danny Gutierrez, I'm Sean Anderson. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.